What it do, peeps? Sheryl Swoopes is been missing. Sheryl Swoopes is MIA. They got a APB out for Sheryl Swoopes. If you see Sheryl Swoopes, she did a lot of talking a few months ago about the Indiana Fever, the locker room environment, how people didn't want to play there, how people wanted to leave.
Sheryl Swoopes really missed the mark this time. With a bold stance and a voice full of certainty, she boldly claimed that Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever were doomed to fail in attracting top-tier free agents. But fast forward, and the Fever just pulled off one of the most impressive free agency hauls the league has ever seen. As for Sheryl, well, she's now the human equivalent of a malfunctioning Magic 8 ball, constantly wrong every step of the way.
People in the Fever were like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new shit going on around there.
It's a lot. Yeah. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
Let's hit rewind for a second. Sheryl Swoopes, Hall of Famer, basketball icon, no doubt. But these days, she's clocking in full-time as a professional skeptic, putting in some serious overtime. With all her experience, she boldly declared that the Fever would never land elite players because of supposed locker room drama. And yet, here we are. Contracts signed, deals sealed, and Indiana just built a powerhouse. Meanwhile, Sheryl's left watching from the sidelines, looking a little foolish, probably brainstorming her next questionable hot take.
Stephanie White came in and said, okay, hold up. Let me go to Indeed.com and Indeed get some free agents to come in here that want to play, that are accomplished, seasoned veterans. She did all that. Sheryl's been nowhere to be found. Sheryl got a lot of crow to eat, folks. Sheryl could be choking on crow right now. She need that Heimlich maneuver. If you see Sheryl Swoopes, tell her it's okay to come out and talk and say, man, you was wrong. It's okay.
I can picture Sheryl scrolling through her phone like, no way these players picked Indiana. But surprise, Natasha Howard, DeWanna Bonner, Sophie Cunningham, and even Asia Wilson's best friend, Sydney Colson, are all in the Fever. They didn't just win free agency, they absolutely cooked it. And when Colson was asked why she signed with Indiana, let's roll the footage.
Yeah, I talked to Sydney Colson today about her signing with Indiana. She said that Kelsey Mitchell was actually the first person she hit up because they built a bond here, playing AU for the last 3 years. She said she heard some good things about Caitlin Clark from her Aces teammate Kate Martin as well, so that made the decision easy.
Exactly. She was drawn to playing alongside Kelsey Mitchell, a longtime friend, and the rising star, Caitlin Clark. These were the very two players Sheryl Swoopes wrote off just months ago. And here's the kicker. This is the same Sheryl who said Caitlin Clark would need years to get used to the WNBA. Years? Seriously? Clark's out here casually dropping 40 points like it's nothing, while Swoopes' predictions are aging about as well as spoiled milk.
3 WNBA MVPs in your career. Would you consider each of those 3 seasons as dominant seasons for yourself?
No.
I can't. Bro, Sheryl Swoopes is willing to lie about her own career before she even admits that Caitlin is dominant.
At this point, it feels like hating on Caitlin Clark has become Sheryl Swoopes' personal Olympic event, and she's snagging gold. Actually, she's probably sweeping the entire podium, gold, silver, and bronze, looking all kinds of salty while the anthem plays. Oh, Caitlin won't make the leap to the WNBA. Well, someone should let Indiana know, because they're out here stacking elite talent like they're building an all-star team. Caitlin Clark isn't just finding her footing, she's dominating, and the Fever are right there with her. Maybe it's time for Sheryl Swoopes to take a back seat, because Indiana just gave her a reality check.
No, but players who will be free agents next year. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Let's not fool ourselves. The real reason some of these WNBA vets and self-proclaimed legends can't stand Caitlin Clark is because she didn't play by their rules. She didn't wait her turn or ask for permission to stand out. Nah, she waltzed in, shattered 62 records in her rookie season, embraced the fans, and took the sport to new global heights. And, oh, does that sting for them? You bet it does.
The Indiana Fever are that golden destination, and I can't help but laugh to the fans and the people online and the media commentators, unfortunately, who said that nobody wanted to play in Indiana. That doesn't make any sense.
Caitlin Clark didn't need anyone's approval to claim her spot as the face of women's basketball. She's got more global recognition than half the league combined, and that's not by accident. That's the power of being a generational talent. Sheryl Swoopes, Angel Reese, Aja Wilson, and the rest of the Caitlin haters are just going to have to live with it. While they're busy throwing shade, Caitlin is out here racking up accolades, selling out arenas, and making the Indiana Fever the hottest ticket in town. And let's take a moment to appreciate this. The Indiana Fever, the team once overlooked by everyone, are now the center of the basketball world. The former league underdog is now the squad every player wants to join. Now that's what you call shifting the entire landscape.
You know, a lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness.
So, Sheryl, what happened to that claim about players not wanting to go to Indiana? Who exactly were you talking to? The ghosts of teams long gone? Because real, relevant players are lining up to join the Fever like it's the VIP section of an exclusive club. Did she honestly think Caitlin Clark would have to beg anyone to team up with her? Let's be real here.
Went even further when a game that Sheryl Swoopes was calling for the Dallas Wings, where the commentator was talking about how great Caitlin Clark had been playing. Sheryl Swoopes, silent for 60 seconds, didn't even want to address it. And it got so bad that the game that Dallas then went to play against the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark after the domination of the Chicago Sky, Sheryl Swoopes got pulled from the broadcast.
Someone better check on Sheryl because she's clearly stuck in 2002 when the Fever were stumbling through mediocrity like it was some kind of team-building drill. Sis, things have shifted. This isn't Tamika Catchings trying to lift a squad of part-time gym teachers. The Indiana Fever are stacked now. Natasha Howard, a champion, defensive powerhouse, and certified scorer. Here's what she had to say when she signed on with the team.
It's going to be Caitlin Clark Flash Show, So it's going to be phenomenal playing with a point guard, like you said, that have a good vision on the court. Because that's like as soon as she get the ball in her hand, she's throwing it up because she already see the person down the court before she even get the ball in her hand. So that's one thing I love about her vision on the court. I really can't wait to catch all those passes and give her all the assists that she needs.
DeWanna Bonner, standing tall at 6 feet 4 inches, a walking mismatch, an elite scorer, and a key player in the WNBA's top tier. And guess what? She just fired back at all the Fever doubters on Twitter. Then there's Sophie Cunningham, bringing the heat, the confidence, and enough smack talk to shake any arena. So, who did she want to team up with?
Why does everybody hate Caitlin Clark? And do you hate Caitlin Clark? Come on, talk to me.
Dude. Absolutely not. I think that she's a gem. I didn't know her, but All-Star Weekend, we kind of bantered back and forth a little bit. And she's lovely. She has a lot of pressure on her shoulders. And I think a lot of people always have a lot to say with people they don't even know or shoes they've never been in. And for me, I think she's handling the pressure very well. She's doing a lot of great things for women's basketball. And I'm a fan. Like, I would love to play with her one day, for real.
And Sydney Colson, whether she's logging major minutes or not, is about to transform the Fever locker room into the most fun, high-energy space the team has ever seen. The chemistry? Off the charts. Do we sense a trend here? They all chose Indiana. They all decided to play with the core group of Caitlin, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hull. So while Sheryl Swoopes is busy crafting her next misguided hot take, The Fever are out here building a dynasty. Maybe it's time someone hands Sheryl a pair of glasses because she might be talking about the wrong team. Could she be referring to the Las Vegas Aces, the Chicago Sky, or the Connecticut Sun, all of which seem to be falling apart? The Fever are here, and they're not just showing up, they're taking over.
You know that I'm very excited, and I really agree with a lot of the moves the Indiana Fever have made. There's not been one trade or pickup that the Indiana Fever have made that I have not been on board with. I'm on board with every single one. And I just want to say the fact that the Indiana Fever have gone out and got these great players like a Natasha Howard, like a DeWanna Bonner, like a Sophie Cunningham, the fact that they've gone out and got these great players shows that they believe Caitlin Clark is great right now. They are on board with the Caitlin Clark vision, and it just makes me happy, because they're not treating Caitlin Clark like a rookie who is going to be good in 10 years. No, they're treating her like a superstar who is good right now.
Sheryl Swoopes really thought she was dropping some major insights on the Gills Arena podcast. She hopped on the mic like she was about to spill top secret info, but all she ended up revealing was just how much her credibility has taken a hit. At this point, are we even shocked? Sheryl's out here throwing out hot takes like it's her side hustle, and if there were a Hall of Fame for terrible opinions, she'd be a first ballot, unanimous pick.
Like a lot more odds. Like for real. I feel like I'm like in a little bit of a dream, but it's just super dope, super cool. I don't know if I ever seen myself on like this many billboards and pictures, so this is really good. Oh. Now it's really real, huh? This is dope. Okay. I gotta get used to 2.5. This is my first time.
Something unexpected went down in Indiana, and it's shaking the WNBA to its core. No big press conferences, no spotlight, no orchestrated moments, just a quiet entrance that has the league scrambling to figure out what's next.
On the court. Bonner, the logo 3 at the shot clock. Mounting in the scheme.
Bonner makes her career best. Bonner hits the 3.
Bonner launches over. Savely got the 3.
DeWanna Bonner, two-time WNBA champion, future Hall of Famer, and one of the most respected vets in the game, made her way into Indiana without a hint of drama. No waiting around. And where did she go first? Right to the gym. Her work ethic is impeccable. She is exactly the type of player that the Indiana Fever needed.
Similar to what DB said about the competitive fire you all had, the moment you had in the playoffs last year, all those things. How do you think your competitive fire can mesh with hers?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you want. You want your teammates to be just as competitive as you are. So I think training camp's going to be really fun. That's when you're competing live. You know, you're getting after things. Coaches are figuring out what lineups work, what lineups don't. So I think it's more so like the drive of pushing your teammates to get better. And I think that's exactly what she speaks to when she talks about her leadership. Like, that's going to push all of us to get better when you can see a vet like that come in here and want to get better every single day still. And, you know, you're 12 plus whatever they are in their career. That's inspiring. That motivates you to want to be better too, but just exciting.
But waiting for her wasn't a coach, an agent, or a front office exec. It was no other than Caitlin Clark. Clearly the main reason DeWanna joined the team, so she was excited to see her.
Thank you very much. That's what 6'5" would do for you. Pick up, rebound, Fagbinley. Futility from 3 for the Sparks. Over there, Fagbinley comes up with it. Here's Clark and Trent leaves it behind for. Here's just 1 of 5. They go threes.
Yeah, they do. Nice.
The rookie sensation, the once-in-a-generation talent, the player every team in the league has been scrambling to figure out.
South Carolina players in this game, by the way.
Sure do.
Tiffany Mitchell, Alicia Gray.
South Carolina players in this game? Tiffany Mitchell, Alicia Gray, and the big question lingering? Why? Why would a battle-tested veteran skip the usual welcome parties to hit the gym with a rookie? This wasn't just a workout. This was a message to let everyone in the league know that they are coming prepared for the new upcoming season. And if you think this is just another off-season move, brace yourself for a rude awakening. The Indiana Fever has something big planned up their sleeve. The WNBA is on the verge of a major shift, and the Indiana Fever is right in the middle of it. This season is just getting started, and you won't want to miss a single moment.
What's up, Fever fans? DB here. So happy to be here, so excited. I'll see you guys in May.
No welcome parade, no PR stunt, no fluff. DeWanna Bonner didn't come to Indiana for the media circus. She came for one thing: business. A two-time WNBA champion, a future Hall of Famer, and one of the game's most respected veterans. But instead of basking in the spotlight or making a dramatic entrance, she went straight to the gym.
I'm just happy that I can still be a part of it. I'm happy that I'm still wanted, in different organizations and have the free agency that I had. And I'm coming to probably one of the best fan bases in the world right now, so I'm pretty honored to.
No cameras, no distractions, just pure focus. That's not a casual arrival. That's a message. When a player of Bonner's caliber bypasses the theatrics and heads straight to work, it's clear she's got unfinished business. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Bonner isn't stepping into Indiana as the face of the franchise. She's not here to demand the ball, dominate games, or make a statement. She's taking on a role most superstars would avoid, a supporting piece to an already budding young core.
I'm coming to probably one of the best fan bases in the world right now.
That's almost unheard of in professional basketball, where ego usually collides with team chemistry. But for Bonner, this isn't about status. It's about strategy. She sees something special in this Indiana squad, and she knows exactly how to take it to the next level.
The way they came back the second game, it just makes you excited to, okay, I want to be a part of that. They didn't lay down and quit. They came back and actually tried to beat us early, that next game. So it just shows a lot about their character and how hungry they are. And
her first move in a Fever uniform made one thing obvious. She's here to win, and she's not wasting a second. She's linking up with the player poised to redefine the league, Caitlin Clark. This isn't just mentorship, it's about building chemistry, trust, and ensuring Indiana isn't just competitive, but dominant.
Time and his third, currently 5 catchings for second.
Time and again, Bonner's message is simple. Clark doesn't need someone to shape her. She's already built for this moment. That's what makes this move so dangerous for the rest of the WNBA. Because if you thought Bonner was just here to mentor Clark, think again. She's here to partner up, to sharpen her, to elevate her. And if that playoff battle was any sign, these two aren't just going to coexist, they're going to dominate. Let's be real. DeWanna Bonner could have gone anywhere. Teams lined up, contenders made their pitches. She had the leverage to choose a championship-ready roster. But she chose Indiana, a team still finding its stride, a franchise that, just a couple years ago, was an afterthought in the playoff hunt. That's not just a decision, that's a statement. A player of her caliber doesn't make a move like this unless she sees something the rest of the world hasn't caught on to yet.
You come in as a rookie and like you said, you're trying to figure out a new environment, new teammates. You don't want to say too much. You don't want to say too little. And it's just so hard.
What if I told you that Caitlin Clark's greatest challenge wasn't on the court, but within the locker room? That her most significant achievement wasn't smashing records, but building connections? How do you excel without outshining your teammates? How do you blend in while still standing out?
It's crazy, like looking back at a year ago today or around this time, like I was just beginning my senior year of college. And obviously, you know, people knew who we were and people attended our games, but it's obviously not on the magnitude that it is now.
Yeah.
So like life just changes fast, but that's what makes it fun and cool. And, you know, quickly started a new chapter of my life too, like moving here to Indianapolis. And
in an insightful podcast interview, Clark opened up about her rookie year and how she navigated those challenges. Her comments about her teammates will make you reconsider everything you thought you knew about the Indiana Fever. What are her true feelings toward the team around her? From sophomore Aaliyah Boston to Fever's close friend Lexi Hull and others such as Kelsey Mitchell and Nalissa Smith, we uncover Caitlin's unfiltered thoughts about them. Ready for the inside scoop? Let's dive in.
I mean, it was just a crazy year because you go all the way up to the national championship game and then you're playing right away.
Yeah.
You know, one of my coaches early on in my career said, you know, your rookie year is always so hard because you're in a new city, you're in a new place, you're with a new team, new coaches. There's so much that's not part of the routine that you're so used to. And you had that as like magnified.
Imagine this. Caitlin Clark, the collegiate phenom, steps onto the WNBA court for the very first time. All eyes are fixed on her, with expectations soaring high. However, Clark's greatest obstacle isn't her performance on the court. It's finding her place within the team. During an eye-opening episode of the New Heights podcast, Clark delved into her rookie anxieties. She shared,
but like in my scenario, and obviously you guys too, like you're already highly thought of. Like people are turning to you to like be something or be someone. So it's hard. Like you're trying to get your feet wet, but also not do too much. And I think that's kind of what I struggled in early on is like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how they're going to react.
Pressure was overwhelming, and Clark felt torn between two worlds. She spoke about feeling adrift in the locker room. Should she take the lead or go along with the group? It was a mental battle intensified by her fame. Yet, amidst the turmoil, Clark discovered a positive side. The fast-paced WNBA environment kept her concentrated.
But I think it was good a little bit too. Like you don't have time to overthink things. Like it's just like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
like you're just on to the next. But at the same time, like you don't like, I feel like I never really ended the chapter of college. Like it was just like you been left, but maybe that's good. You don't have a lot of time to think about it. So I think that's definitely the weirdest part of, you know, women's professional basketball and obviously college basketball too. It's just that change, but that's kind of how it has to be too. So it's just different.
Her teammates became her rock during this wild transition. While some teammates caused problems in the beginning, eventually everyone came together to thrive in the WNBA.
For not knowing, you nailed it. Well.
But also, like, I had a lot of really good vets around me too, so I feel very grateful for that. And we had a fairly young team too, so like people had been through it fairly recently, so they knew how I felt. But like, I feel like that definitely is a huge challenge, and that goes for whatever professional sport. Like, you're trying to learn, but also people are looking at you like, you got to perform and like be what they drafted you to be, and that can be tough.
In a heartfelt moment, Clark confessed, "I feel like I never truly closed the chapter of college. It was just like you left. But maybe that's for the best. There isn't much time to dwell on it." This highlighted just how abrupt and challenging the transition to the pros can be, even for a star like Clark.
You mentioned the vets, and I think, you know, for me at least, there was a lot. Some vets were incredible. Some of the vets, obviously, you're competing for jobs, so there's a little bit there, but you lean so much as a young player on your vets, and you lean so much from like, even just like in Philly, there's so many great players that played for the Eagles that like Harold Carmichael, who was a legendary Philadelphia Eagle, was like always around and willing to lend advice or anything. Did you have many former players or current players like reach out to you that really helped you in transitioning into the WNBA?
As Caitlin Clark continues to navigate the high-pressure world of the WNBA, her journey stands as a powerful example of resilience and growth. From overcoming locker room challenges to embracing the fast-paced professional lifestyle, Clark is not only proving her prowess on the court, but also her ability to build meaningful connections with her teammates. Her honest reflections highlight the complexities of transitioning from college stardom to the pros, reminding us that even the brightest stars face their own set of challenges. What do you think the future holds for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever?
There is a celebration right now in the WNBA dump. And of course, the party is being hosted by their pretend friends in the mainstream media. Angel Reese, who the media wants you to believe is the face of the WNBA, when at minimum, she is the co-star in this box office drama. Hell, some people might even consider her to be a part of the supporting cast.
While seasoned WNBA players have been criticizing Caitlin Clark's influence, a 19-year-old USC sensation has just revealed a groundbreaking truth that is shaking up the entire league.
I have been saying this for a while now. This is one of the main problems with the WNBA. They want to pick and choose which players are celebrated. They want to tell you who you should support.
Remember when players like Angel Reese and Diana Taurasi were minimizing Clark's impact? Well, Juju Watkins has just set a new standard for everyone. What's truly fascinating is that her reaction to Caitlin Clark isn't merely causing a stir, it's signaling a significant change in how the upcoming generation of players envisions the future of women's basketball. If you've been keeping up with the WNBA lately, you know something big is unfolding. Juju Watkins' actions go beyond creating ripples. They're fundamentally altering our perception of what lies ahead for the sport. This conversation is essential because it's not just about a single interview, it represents an entirely new mindset towards basketball. Let's begin by looking at the developments in women's basketball over the past year. Caitlin Clark has been smashing records consistently, fundamentally transforming how fans engage with the game. We're seeing packed arenas, unprecedented viewership numbers, and the kind of attention the WNBA has been striving for over the years. But things took an intriguing and somewhat complicated turn. If you find this analysis helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more comprehensive basketball insights. While Clark was drawing significant attention to the sport, the reactions from WNBA veterans were equally noteworthy. Remember Diana Taurasi's remarks? She appeared on air discussing how Clark might need time to adapt and questioned if she was truly ready for the WNBA. Taurasi is undeniably a legend, but her comments, along with those from other seasoned players, seemed to overlook the broader picture. Then there's Angel Reese, who has been more focused on social media disputes than on celebrating the sport's advancement. I understand it's challenging to see someone else receive instant recognition when you've been battling for acknowledgement yourself. However, this is where our narrative takes an unexpected twist.
Unlike the other 99% of the WNBA, Angel Reese damn sure ain't an extra. When you see her pretty face, at least you can recognize it. After spending the last 12 or so months complaining about being sexualized, after spending the last 12 months complaining about the dirty messages that she receives from lonely men on social media, Angel Reese, she was given the cover of the winter edition of Vogue magazine. This is amazing! This is quite the accomplishment!
Enter Juju Watkins. At just 19 years old, she's making waves at USC by breaking her own records. However, it's not only her on-court achievements that have everyone buzzing. It's her insightful views on the growth of the sport that are capturing attention. During her interview on Fox News, Watkins went beyond the standard PR talk and shared profound wisdom that many veterans, twice her age, seem to overlook. When questioned about the increasing spotlight on women's basketball, she offered a meaningful perspective. The mere fact that people are watching is a significant achievement in itself. Let's delve into why this is so important. For decades, the WNBA has been battling an uphill struggle, facing skeptics, limited media exposure, and at times, outright dismissal of their talents and contributions.
Some might even call it hypocritical. You guys tell me, what would be the bigger accomplishment? Landing the cover of Vogue or being named Athlete of the Year by Time magazine?
Many athletes have adopted a defensive stance, and honestly, who can blame them? Constantly fighting for respect makes you protective of your achievements. However, Watkins is different. She belongs to a generation that has seen women's sports become more accessible through social media. She understands how engagement, both positive and negative, can drive growth. When she talks about accepting that not all attention will be positive, she shows a level of business savvy that's impressive for her age. While some veterans express frustration about new fans not understanding the game's history or questioning their legitimacy, Watkins welcomes everyone, regardless of how they arrived. This isn't just about kindness, it's about understanding modern sports expansion. The contrast is even clearer when looking at how players handled media attention this past year. Some veterans resented the new fans brought by Caitlin Clark, but Watkins advocates embracing them all, including critics. This goes beyond inclusivity. It's about grasping the economics of today's sports. In the digital age, engagement is crucial. TV deals, sponsorships, and merchandise sales all rely on people paying attention to your sport. When Watkins says she's okay with people watching, even if they oppose her, she shows a deep understanding of how sports leagues grow in the 21st century. At just 19, Watkins displays more business insight than some league executives. She realizes that in the age of social media and viral content, every form of engagement holds value. Even negative attention can spark interest, generate conversations, and ultimately help grow the sport.
Not female athlete of the year, I'm talking about athlete of the year, which means if you won the award, you were competing with legends like Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Donnie Carr, and who could forget the legend of legends, the icon of icons, Willard Green.
What's truly intriguing is how Watkins handles criticism. Instead of the typical clap back at haters approach seen from some players, she adopts a more thoughtful perspective. She understands that not everyone will be supportive and views even negative attention as a part of growth. This isn't just mature, it's smart from a business standpoint. Look at legends like Muhammad Ali and Michael Jordan. Ali welcomed fans who wanted to see him face defeat, and Jordan embraced those who loved to hate him. Both knew that being polarizing can boost a sport's interest. This mindset is exactly what women's basketball needs now. With players like Caitlin Clark attracting unprecedented attention and athletes like Watkins demonstrating such maturity, there's a real chance for transformative growth. What's even more compelling is that Watkins isn't just accepting new fans. She's actively embracing the kind of attention some veterans resist. She recognizes that in today's sports world, engagement, even controversial, fuels growth. Imagine a WNBA where players welcome all forms of attention, viewing debate and criticism as signs of relevance rather than disrespect. New fans feel included, no matter how they discovered the sport through Caitlin Clark, Juju Watkins, or others. This could be the blueprint for the next phase of women's basketball. Instead of getting defensive or questioning new fans' authenticity, embrace all engagement to build something bigger.
Thank you. I can't wait to give this to my girlfriend.
You don't have a girlfriend, Mike.
If you thought Caitlin Clark was simply a deadly sharpshooter with an intense competitive spirit, think again. She's also a comedy mastermind. From roasting her teammates to delivering perfect one-liners and pulling off surprising antics, Clark knows how to keep the laughs coming. Now, let's dive into 10 of Caitlin Clark's funniest moments that had everyone in stitches. Kicking things off is the time Caitlin Clark made an appearance on SNL's Weekend Update. What made this moment so funny and entertaining was that Caitlin came fully prepared with her own jokes written down. It was a hilarious scene, giving the audience and fans a chance to see her comedic side. Michael also delivered an absolutely perfect introduction to Clark, adding to the laughter.
The University of Iowa announced that basketball star Caitlin Clark will have her jersey retired and replaced with an apron. Well, the WNBA draft is this Monday, and Iowa star Caitlin Clark is expected to be the #1 pick. Here to comment is Caitlin Clark.
The audience absolutely loved having Clark in the spotlight, and things got even funnier when Caitlin Clark fired back at Michael's earlier joke by asking him to read some of the jokes she had written herself. The exchange took the humor to a whole new level.
This year, Caitlin Clark broke the record for three-pointers in a single season, and I have three-pointers for Michael Che. 1B, 2 funnier, 3...
To wrap up the segment, Caitlin Clark took it up a notch by handing Michael an apron, a nod to his earlier joke when he introduced her to the show. The timing was perfect, and she even took the opportunity to roast Michael a little more, adding another layer of comedy to the moment.
Since you're such a big fan, I brought you a souvenir. It's an apron signed by me.
Thank you. I can't wait to give this to my girlfriend.
You don't have a girlfriend, Mike.
Caitlin Clark, everybody!
At this point, the crowd was absolutely roaring with laughter. The whole exchange only added to the humor, showcasing just how funny and entertaining Caitlin Clark really is. Moving on to number 2, aside from those times when she came prepared with jokes, Clark has had plenty of moments where she cracked a joke off the cuff, leaving everyone in stitches with her spontaneous humor. Like that one time, she tried to make a wordplay joke about cheetahs.
Caitlin, pits of your soul, you're a comedian. Do you have any updated jokes for me?
Why don't they take tests at the zoo? There's too many cheetahs.
What made it even funnier was the way the reporter just stood there, totally dazed and amused, while Clark couldn't help but laugh and smile, fully aware of how mischievous and hilarious the moment was. Now, moving on to number 3, Caitlin Clark doesn't keep her jokes limited to interviews. She's also a pro at the friendly roast. During one interview, the WNBA star was on the court when the reporter decided to test their own shooting skills.
I think you have to go now. Come on. Let's see if you can get it there.
Two more. I have no legs, so I can come in here.
No, I feel confident. Let's see.
I'm wearing this jacket.
Oh.
Ugh,
That's
terrible.
not bad. Get it there.
Oh my God.
You gotta jump.
Even though Clark tried to be supportive, she just couldn't help but laugh and throw in a few playful jabs. And when the reporter tried to blame his terrible shooting on his dress clothes and the tight rims, Caitlin wasn't about to let him off the hook that easily.
Tight rims, I'm telling you.
No, I think that might just be you, honestly.
This moment just made Clark even more lovable thanks to her hilarious personality. Coming in at number 4, another unforgettable moment that had everyone buzzing about Caitlin Clark's mischievous side was her visit to a goat petting zoo with her teammates. Watching Clark feed the baby goats quickly turned into pure entertainment, and naturally, she turned the whole thing into her own personal comedy show.
All right, relax. Everybody don't fight over me. Don't fight over me, okay? Wait, I don't remember who I bet.
Fans love seeing Caitlin and her teammates bond over something other than basketball. But the real comedy came from the fans themselves, who couldn't resist making the perfect joke: the goat feeding goats. Now, halfway through at number 5, Caitlin Clark's easygoing and cheerful nature really shines when she's around her teammates, both on and off the court. Her bond with Lexi Hull is especially fun to watch. One particularly funny moment happened during an interview when Lexi was answering a question, only for Caitlin to interrupt with a burst of childish laughter at something Lexi said.
What was your intent there to try to make an impact as well as you did tonight?
Thank you. I would say that's kind of my role.
Respectful.
Caitlin Clark's reaction to Lexi Hull's innocent comment had the entire room in stitches.
And take advantage of that. Caitlin? Yeah. We're done. Oh, Lord.
Coming in at number 6, Caitlin Clark and Lexi Hull's dynamic duo wasn't just reserved for the court. The two had fans cracking up once again when they pulled up to a Swig drive-thru to grab some fruit and soda drinks.
Playing with vanilla cream instead of coconut cream. Can I have the beach babe too, please?
What made this even more interesting was that Clark was immediately recognized. But when the friendly lady asked if she was really Caitlin Clark, Clark responded with a mischievous grin.
You're Caitlin Clark, right? Maybe.
After being recognized, the owner gifted them golden mugs, guaranteeing them free refills whenever they came back.
Golden mug I want to give you. Golden mug means every time you come through Swig, you just get a free refill.
He said he was going to give us golden mugs. So we'll be back. Yeah.
At number 7, one thing that stands out about Caitlin Clark is how her teammates not only recognize her playful side, but also encourage it. Of course, sometimes they have to step in to keep her focused, like that time during warm-ups when Katie Lou got the best of Clark, locking in a submission and making her tap out. The whole team couldn't stop laughing. This was a hilarious moment that perfectly captured the fun and bond the team shares. Caitlin later opened up about it, admitting that she can be a bit of a child sometimes with how playful she gets.
She's just she's a kid sometimes, and keeps everything light, but sometimes you just gotta put her in place.
Coming in at number 8, Caitlin Clark's humor isn't confined to basketball. She can turn anything into a comedy show. In one unforgettable moment, Lexi Hull caught Clark delivering a full play-by-play commentary on a Philly baseball game.
And that ball's hit to the shortstop. Rojas throws it over to first base, and that's not going to be enough.
The video quickly went viral, perfectly capturing how effortlessly hilarious and entertaining Clark can be. Watching her switch from WNBA star to baseball commentator had fans in stitches.
The Phillies leading 1-0. We'll be back in a minute with a 30-second break.
It was such a viral moment that it even landed Clark an invitation.
The Phillies have taken her up on her offer to broadcast a game.
At number 9, Caitlin Clark's humor isn't just for her teammates. It extends to her family and friends as well. A perfect example of this is her hilarious moments with her boyfriend, Connor. The two have shared some truly funny interactions.
I just want to sleep for like 3 weeks straight after the season's over.
You want to sleep for 3 weeks straight during the season, too?
That too. I love sleeping. It's awesome.
The thing about Caitlin is how she'll enthusiastically praise and appreciate Connor for being supportive. But she doesn't hesitate to throw friendly jabs at him, even during interviews. Like that time she casually mentioned that in a shooting competition, she outshoots him every time.
Having some shooting competitions, it gets a little heated. I definitely outshoot him way more than he outshoots me, but he tries to think otherwise.
And finally, at number 10, Caitlin Clark's playful and competitive spirit isn't just for her teammates and friends. It shines through in her family moments too. Her close bond with her family is filled with hilarious exchanges, but one of the best was when she got fouled and started complaining about it, only for her dad to shut it down with a classic, stop complaining response.
I move, and if they're open, she will find them. Martin commits the foul.
And that wraps up our list of Caitlin Clark's funniest moments. From her sharp wit to her playful antics, she never fails to entertain, both on and off the court. Whether she's cracking jokes, roasting teammates, or turning everyday moments into comedy gold, Caitlin proves she's not just a basketball star, she's a natural entertainer. If you enjoyed this compilation, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more fun and unforgettable Caitlin Clark moments.
Loyola University basketball coach Sheryl Swoopes, she's under investigation accused of mistreating players. One of them is speaking out this morning, telling us why she wanted to transfer. ABC's Lindsay Davis is here with the details. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Lara. Sheryl Swoopes was the first woman to ever sign with the WNBA. But this morning, the college coach is not only under fire, but under investigation after reports that the majority of her roster has decided to leave.
They fired her. They didn't just replace Sheryl Swoopes, they booted her out. And why? Because of Caitlin Clark.
There's a lot of other going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new shit going on around there.
It's a lot. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
Yeah, Melissa.
Months ago, Swoopes sat on her high horse predicting disaster for the Indiana Fever. She, Miss Caitlin Clark, boldly claimed no one would want to play in Indiana and confidently declared that top-tier talent would never sign there.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. As always, appreciate your support. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19. Let's go. So I wanted to do a little bit of a dive into the Fever roster, what that looks like. Now that we've gotten through the bulk of the free agency offseason, we've seen a lot of changes.
Fast forward to today, and the Fever just made the most game-changing free agency move in WNBA history.
The way they came back the second game, it just makes you excited to, okay, I want to be a part of that. They didn't lay down and quit. They came back and actually try to beat us early, that next game. So.
Superstar signings, game changers, and Swoopes.
So y'all can record this, you cannot record it, but the biggest thing I want everybody to hear me say right now.
She's been strangely silent. Ever seen someone talk a big game, then disappear? That's exactly what's going down right now. Indiana just dropped a statement that's sending ripples through the entire league, and we're here to dissect every bit of it.
All right, Hoop Queens, gather around because we've got some major tea brewing in the WNBA. Indiana Fever just landed Brianna Turner in free agency. Brianna Turner, let that sink in.
Before we dive into the good stuff, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Keep up with all the latest WNBA news, expert analysis, and the drama you won't get anywhere else. Now, let's get into it.
But I think you're starting to get a little bit more shine from maybe the casual fan, and maybe some folks who maybe didn't know or haven't seen Indiana as much as they've seen this year.
I agree.
So what's that part like, getting that little bit more attention and getting a little bit more shine and getting the recognition that...
The Indiana Fever just shook up free agency like never before. They didn't just add players, they built a juggernaut. You know that feeling when you go all out in franchise mode on a video game? Well, that's exactly what Indiana just did. They went all in, loading up their roster with seasoned champions, fierce competitors, and players who've got both game and attitude. This wasn't just another offseason, it was a full-on power play.
Yes. Wait. Yep. You look good on me, huh? Look good. Like a whole 360. Like, I think I was talking to my wife about it. I'm like, man, what if I go back to Indiana where I started? That would be crazy. Look where I'm at.
First up, they snagged Natasha Howard, a 3-time WNBA champion and one of the fiercest defensive forces around. Howard doesn't just defend, she shuts players down. Her ability to lock down anyone, protect the rim, and control the boards takes Indiana's defense to a whole new level.
Going for your services, DeWanna, so why was this the right opportunity for you?
I just feel like it was the location for one. My kids are literally right up the road, and I've spent a lot of time away from them, so that and the core that they have here now is just kind of want to fit in, and be another piece of the puzzle, and hopefully bring the energy dynamic and take us to a different level in the playoffs.
Next up, they brought in DeWanna Bonner, a scoring powerhouse who's a nightmare for any defender. Bonner adds leadership, championship pedigree, and that clutch gene that turns the Fever into a serious playoff contender.
In Sophie Cunningham, the Indiana Fever are trading for a multi-dimensional wing. capable of knocking down the three ball.
Cunningham is starting to cook. Cunningham, three is good.
Cunningham from the corner. Locking down defenders.
Several deflections, and this time she gets the steal and the N1 opportunity.
And they weren't finished yet. Enter Sophie Cunningham, a walking spark plug, bold, trash-talking, and always ready to ignite her team and the crowd. She thrives in clutch moments, playing with a chip on her shoulder, exactly the kind of energy Indiana was craving. And to cap it all off, they added Sydney Colson, a seasoned vet with championship DNA, the kind of player who holds it all together behind the scenes. Colson's leadership in the locker room will be just as vital as what she brings on the court. This isn't just a team full of talent, it's a roadmap to success. The Fever didn't sit around waiting for greatness. They went out and created it.
And that's where you brought up the Fever. I think what I've learned in my WNBA experience is pace of play trumps physicality, it trumps size, it can trump experience, because a lot of times when you're experienced, it's really like code word for your veteran, which is code word for your old.
Slow the pace.
Yeah. So I feel like
I know that's why you guys were so good for those
in
years.
2018 and 2020, the years we won, that was our whole mantra, was pace, 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 pace. And what I see in Caitlin.
For months, the media pushed the same old story. Nobody wants to play for Indiana. The franchise was labeled a dead zone, a place elite players wouldn't even think about. Analysts wrote off the Fever, critics laughed off any chance of big signings, and Sheryl Swoopes all but mocked the idea of Indiana drawing in top-tier free agents. To most, the Fever were just another struggling team with no real appeal in the league.
Her face, unable to hit. Bree Jones, another 0 board for Connecticut. Better look for Mabry. Off the mark.
But here we are now. Indiana didn't just sign free agents, they snagged some of the top talent out there. The same team everyone claimed couldn't draw stars just assembled one of the most lethal rosters in the WNBA. Natasha Howard, DeWanna Bonner, Sophie Cunningham, Sydney Colson. These aren't just bodies filling spots. These are game changers, battle-tested vets, players who could have signed anywhere but chose Indiana. That alone smashes the false narrative about the Fever being a dead-end destination. Now, the same analysts who wrote them off are scrambling. That nobody wants to play there, take, gone, like expired milk. The entire perception of the Fever flipped overnight, and it all boils down to one undeniable truth. They built a culture players want to be part of. With Caitlin Clark in the mix, a front office making bold moves, and a roster that's suddenly one of the league's best, Indiana isn't just back, they're a problem.
Oh, it's a triple-double for Caitlin. What a reaction by Kelsey. Well, how about the knowledgeable fans in this building? They burst out of their seats like it was a game winner.
Let's cut to the chase. This is the Caitlin Clark effect, plain and simple. Caitlin Clark isn't just any rookie trying to find her footing in the league. She's a franchise-changing force. The kind of player who doesn't just lift her team, but redefines the entire WNBA landscape. The Indiana Fever, a team that's been stuck in the mud for years, is suddenly the most talked about squad in the league, and that's no fluke. Clark's arrival has turned this franchise into a destination, one that's not only worth watching, but one that top players actually want to join.
Sophie, when you talk about the young girls that came in, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, rookie class, really hyping up the league coming from college to the WNBA, what has that done for you and the buzz of this entire league?
I think it's so positive. I really do. I think it's a fun time to be a part of the W. I truly believe that. I think the skill and the talent has always been there, but now it's just the viewership. And so I give a big old clap to the rookie class. I think that's a lot to deal with when you're at that age and you have that many eyes on you. But I think they've done a great job in the league as well. I think the physicality and all that they're going to get used to, but I think especially Caitlin Clark, she's been killing it.
When Sophie Cunningham signed with Indiana, she didn't sugarcoat it. Caitlin Clark was a factor. Players aren't just hearing about Clark's insane shooting range or flashy assists. They're hearing about her leadership, her competitive edge, and her ability to elevate those around her. That's the kind of player you want to play with. She's a magnet, drawing both talent and attention to a team that used to be flying under the radar.
I'm going to use her word. I want to see her continue to be a dog, because she is a dog. Here's what I'll say about Angel. I love the fact that she's just her, right? And she says she's unapologetically Angel. She plays hard, both ends of the floor. It doesn't matter what the score is. The thing that I think people question wasn't so much about her game or her rebounding, but it was the scoring. And the fact that she is either averaging or almost averaging a double-double is pretty impressive to do from anybody, but in particular a rookie. I just love how she's come into this league. She's embraced the bumps, the bruises. She's embraced the good with the bad. And I love watching her play because she plays hard the entire game.
Let's talk about Sheryl Swoopes. She thought Clark was overhyped. Just another college standout who'd take years to make her mark in the pros. But the truth? Clark is already leading the league in assists, dropping 40-point games like it's no big deal, and flipping the power dynamics in the WNBA. Indiana isn't just improving, they're becoming a serious threat, and Clark's the one making it happen.
Pin down here, wide open.
Caitlin Clark's impact goes way beyond what's happening on the court. Yeah, she's lighting up defenses and setting records, but what's unfolding off the floor is just as game-changing. She's driving record ticket sales, smashing TV viewership numbers, and getting people to care about the WNBA like never before. Every Fever game feels like an event, and any matchup with Clark, must-watch TV. This isn't just a rising star. This is a movement.
Swoopes has it, turns in the air for the game. Oh,
Before becoming one of the most electrifying players in WNBA history, Sheryl Swoopes was a sensation on the college stage, leading Texas Tech to the 1993 NCAA title with a record-setting 47-point performance in the championship game.
Sheryl Swoopes didn't see this coming. She thought Clark would have to earn her place, struggle, and prove herself over time. Instead, Clark stepped into the league and immediately took it by storm. Now, she's the main reason why the Indiana Fever has become the go-to spot for top-tier talent. Players want to team up with her, coaches want to build around her, and fans can't get enough. The old guard of the WNBA wasn't ready for this, but now they've got no choice but to accept it. For years, the WNBA waited for a player who could change the game, someone who could bring mainstream attention, pack arenas, and spark a real shift in the sport. The truth? That player's already here. Caitlin Clark isn't waiting her turn. She's rewriting the rules in real time.
A 6-foot guard from West Des Moines, Iowa, the reigning WNBA Rookie of the Year and the greatest of all time, number 22, Caitlin Clark!
Imagine what should have been a landmark celebration for A'ja Wilson, a night of honor and triumph, turning into a whirlwind of anger and frustration. Instead of basking in well-deserved accolades, Wilson finds herself stewing not over being overlooked, but because Caitlin Clark is hogging the spotlight. While Wilson's jersey retirement struggles to sell out, Clark's event boasts seats that command prices north of $11,000. This begs the question, is Wilson's discontent warranted, or is it merely a shadow of envy? Let's delve into the reasons behind the muted buzz around Wilson's legacy and explore why Clark currently reigns as the undeniable marquee name.
But the thing that was the coolest about coaching this young woman is she is the same today as when she came in. She is full of confidence. She's full of grace, and she has an unbelievable power to make everybody around her better. And the thing I'd like to close with, if you didn't know, to celebrate this wonderful moment, she gave $22,000 to 4 different entities in this town to share her success and to say thank you.
A'ja Wilson's jersey retirement was meant to be a jubilant tribute, a salute to her stellar impact on South Carolina basketball and her commanding presence in the WNBA. Yet instead of reveling in this well-earned honor, she's left feeling not just frustrated, but outright furious. And it's not due to any misstep by South Carolina or an internal blunder. It's because Caitlin Clark is stealing the spotlight.
So you were 5 years old when you decided on number 22, as the story goes. If we were to tell that 5-year-old what today was going to be, what would she have said?
Honestly, I'm very overwhelmed. This has been absolutely incredible. Just being here and feeling this energy again, there's really no place like this place, and I truly mean that. And it's special for me, it's special for my family, and a lot of my former teammates are back here, former coaches, the coaching staff, and some of my teammates that are still on the team. But I'm just very lucky and grateful and very fortunate. At 5 years old, you don't dream of something like this. So, it comes with a lot of hard work and a lot of really good people that have helped me get here.
Let's be honest. Wilson's anger isn't aimed at the jersey retirement itself. It's aimed at what it symbolizes. She's noticing the stark reality. Tickets going for as little as $16 and still failing to sell out. Instead of being the grand celebration it should be, her ceremony is falling woefully short of the fanfare it deserves. Then she turns her gaze to Iowa, where Caitlin Clark's jersey retirement has ballooned into a blockbuster event, with tickets fetching over $11,000. Fans are scrambling for seats, and the buzz is undeniable. That stark contrast stings.
For those of us that were blessed enough to be in the recruiting wars with Caitlin Clark, it didn't take but a second when you saw her for the first time to recognize her greatness. We had a step back three, we had a semi-shoulder shrug, and we had a little grin looking over at the bench, and she was, I think, a rising 9th grader. And so, Lisa, Jenny, myself, our staff, we made a pact that we were going to do everything we could to be the last one standing. And we are so thankful that we were the last one standing.
A'ja Wilson has long been hailed as one of the premier faces of women's basketball. With a resume boasting MVP awards, championships, and even an Olympic gold medal, she's no stranger to accolades. South Carolina has gone so far as to immortalize her with a statue, an honor few athletes ever receive. And yet, when it comes to the buzz surrounding her jersey retirement, the numbers speak for themselves. Fan interest is lackluster. Wilson might claim the timing is off, or argue that Caitlin Clark is unfairly hogging the media spotlight. But at the end of the day, the reality remains unchanged. Caitlin Clark has become the bigger star, a fact Wilson struggles to accept. This isn't a debate about WNBA triumphs versus college success, or a contest of who has a more decorated career. It's about who truly captivates the audience. Right now, Clark is the catalyst for growing interest in women's basketball, while Wilson, despite her impressive achievements, seems to be fading into the background. Wilson's discontent didn't emerge overnight with this jersey retirement debacle. For years, she's been vocal about the broader issues plaguing the WNBA and women's sports in general, lamenting disparities in pay, viewership, and sponsorship. To a degree, her concerns are justified. Women's sports have historically battled for mainstream recognition, but then along came Caitlin Clark, reshaping the narrative entirely. Clark's games are consistently selling out arenas. Her performances are smashing TV ratings, and she's drawing enormous crowds wherever she goes. More than just a skilled player, Clark is a bona fide entertainment powerhouse. Even those who wouldn't normally tune in to women's basketball find themselves captivated by her presence. Her unprecedented media attention underscores her appeal, a stark contrast to Wilson, who finds herself wondering why her legacy isn't eliciting the same level of adoration. Despite her championships and WNBA dominance, Wilson is being sidelined in the race for fan love. The key difference? Clark has an innate ability to connect with people, a magnetic charm that goes beyond raw talent. Wilson undoubtedly has elite skills, but Clark's energy, passion, and relatability make the game feel more inviting. Instead of exuding a chip-on-the-shoulder demeanor that can alienate casual fans, Clark's charisma draws them in, making them feel like they're part of something much larger. In contrast, Wilson's intensity often translates into a sense of entitlement, which can inadvertently push fans away rather than win them over. A clear reflection of this divide can be seen in how both jersey retirements are being celebrated. Clark's event is nothing short of a historic spectacle, with fans clamoring for tickets and willing to pay sky-high prices. Wilson's ceremony, however, seems to be ticking off an obligation rather than igniting a movement. It's not a case of media bias or orchestrated favoritism. This is purely a reflection of where fan interest lies. The crowd is choosing their heroes, and at this moment, they've placed their bets on Clark. Wilson's frustration is palpable as she watches her moment being overshadowed, witnessing the undeniable disparity in demand. Deep down, she's aware that Clark isn't just a fleeting phenomenon. She's the future face of women's basketball. Despite the WNBA's efforts over the years to spotlight Wilson, backed by the league, the media, and industry giants, the excitement simply isn't there. Meanwhile, Clark has effortlessly built her own following, and that organic appeal is something Wilson can't ignore. Instead of letting bitterness fester, perhaps Wilson should take a page from Clark's playbook. She might ask herself how to forge a stronger connection with fans, how to become more accessible and engaging both on and off the court. Basketball isn't solely about statistics and accolades. It's about creating an emotional resonance with the audience. And right now, the difference between the two women is like night and day. While Clark eagerly embraces her role in the spotlight, Wilson appears to resent being deprived of what she believes is rightfully hers. Wilson has undoubtedly earned respect through championships and individual honors. Yet, the love of the casual fan has eluded her. This is why the treatment of their respective jersey retirements couldn't be more different. While Wilson's frustration is understandable, the blame ultimately lies with her. If she aspires to be remembered among the all-time greats, she must realize that true legacy in basketball comes from forging a genuine connection with fans. A connection that, at the moment, belongs to Caitlin Clark.